When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
What does 268 horsepower sound like? You're hearing it right now. The all-new Audi A5, precision crafted to bring the thrill to every turn. This is powerful performance. The all-new Audi A5.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Dianna Russini will be here momentarily. I see that Steve Sarkisian of Texas says, let's take the 135 other teams in college football and see how they would do if they had to go to Ohio State and the Swamp. And I saw South Florida win at the Swamp this year. Like, what is he talking about? You have the Heisman favorite with the quarterback chromosome as your quarterback, and you've got 2 losses, and you're not allowed to say that the Swamp is a difficult place to play. It used to be, and I know that defense is good, but South Florida won there this year, and Miami won there last year, and won there last year in a game that wasn't particularly close, wasn't close.
Yeah, the mystique of the Swamp is pretty shaky right now. That's no excuse for losing if you're Texas.
Texas is not special, and I thought they were going to be special.
It's stunning.
Same with Arch Manning.
Stunning what's happened to that offensive line. I mean, it's pretty much the same defensive line that went up against Miami that was thoroughly dominated, and there was pressure coming up the middle on the edges. Arch Manning, I know that people are having a go at him because it hasn't been the type of season. I do think that it's probably a little hyperbolic. I think it's gotten to the point where we were glazing him a little too much at the start of the season when he hasn't really done much, and now I think people are crushing the kid. That was not Arch Manning's fault on Saturday. Yeah, he missed a couple of throws. He was also under crazy duress the entire time. That is just flatly confusing what has happened to that Texas offensive line when you consider the resources they have usually committed to that.
Well, I will tell you what's more confusing than that to me, though, is to see a player by such consensus step on a field without much proof that he's good and everyone expects him to win the Heisman. Like, I have seen that very infrequently in my life, given how hard it is to play that position, how hard it is to learn that position, and how rare the Josh Rosens and the Jameis Winstons are that come in and are immediately great at that position. To have Coach O say he's the closest thing I've seen to Joe Burrow, and an assortment of other people say that he was going to go into Ohio State and simply be dominant the moment he took the field when he couldn't win the job from Ewers. Like, if he was that special, he would have won the job. Sarkisian wouldn't have been so stubborn to stay with his veteran starter if something was being shown to him. I remember, this goes so far back, but these people who are expert at this, they really can see it faster than we can. So when Jimmy Johnson comes in and has Jack Del Rio as his middle linebacker, veteran Jack Del Rio, and Zach Thomas comes in as a 5th-round pick, he sees it and immediately cuts Jack Del Rio. I know Quentin Ewers was something special at Texas and was a very good college quarterback, but if Arch Manning was what everyone told me he would have been that from day one. And I just never expect that from a college quarterback. I never expect a college quarterback in his first game when Ken Dorsey's the one who says to us, no, the first time I came out at Washington, I could feel the urine going down my leg. I was scared because of the size of what was in front of me. Ohio State, I'll give Sarkisian. I won't give him Florida.
No, but this is the great con of the SEC. If they beat a number 6 ranked Oklahoma, who's playing their backup quarterback in Red River, they'll be back into the teens in the ranking, and there's going to be multiple 3-loss teams that either come from the Big Ten or the SEC. Everyone's writing off Penn State. Penn State finds a way to beat Ohio State. They're right back firmly entrenched in the playoffs. It's so friggin' frustrating if you're from the other conferences.
And let's say Arch Manning is going to be good. He needs to grow into that job. He needs to grow into the expectations. He's a victim right now of too much hype too soon, and he's a victim of the Manning name. He's going to catch up to all that.
I don't think so.
I do.
I think he's going to be better. He's not going to be what it is we've been promised. He's going to be better because he can't be a great deal worse, and the expectations couldn't have been more unreasonable.
Right.
But to expect him to simply be a Manning, for example, just the odds are so stacked against him having even Eli's career in the pros because of how hard that is, that the hyperventilation about the coverage of him seems in retrospect to be really foolhardy.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey, Jeremy, old buddy, old pal.
Hey, Mike.
I want to talk to you about Miller Lite. You and I have bonded over these last few weeks talking about our shared love of Miller Lite.
That's right.
A great partner of our show for practically its entire existence.
It's been a partner of this show since I was 10 years old.
And it's been around for 50 years, and they've been a part of our show for almost 20. We're approaching incredible partner status with Miller Lite.
I mean, to think that people were celebrating at my bar mitzvah with Miller Lite as they were a partner of this show is pretty incredible.
You're talking about the moments that are made better by making those times, those special times, Miller time. Jeremy, there's nothing like cracking open Miller Lite with your crew. This football season, it's especially true. Whether it's a touchdown you didn't see coming or just arguing about fantasy lineups you already know you're going to lose, Miller Lite has been the taste you can depend on for 50 years. Brewed for flavor with simple ingredients, rich toffee notes, that iconic golden color, and here's a kicker, Jeremy.
What's that?
It's just 96 calories.
I still can't believe that. We say it every week. I can't believe it.
It's just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. It's the original light beer since 1975 and still hitting different 5 decades later. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
You ever try to name all your financial accounts and their balances, 401ks, investments, properties? I can barely remember what I had for lunch, let alone all that stuff. That's why I started using Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one finance tool that pulls everything together, your accounts, budgets, goals, into one clean dashboard on your phone or laptop. And let me tell you, it was a wake-up call. I found a 401k from some job I forgot existed, and it wasn't some small change. Ended up being a nice little chunk of change there for the boy. I realized that I had cash just sitting there, doing nothing in my investments. Not as smart as I thought it was. Monarch makes all that obvious and actually feels doable. No spreadsheets, no hopping between apps, just a real clear view of my money. You can even share with your partner or financial advisor. No more wait. Let's see how much we spent on that coffee or that takeout. Monarch puts everything on the table, literally. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
Dan Batard.
Daddy says you're doing a live show on the draft. Is it Channel 7?
Stugotz.
Those girls on Eyewitness News, they look good. They're mothers. They look good, though.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Dianna Russini, as I said, the senior NFL insider for The Athletic, She's the host of the Scoop City podcast. Let's begin with Greg Cody's topic du jour here. Mike McDaniel, are there any advantages, Dianna, any whatsoever, in firing a coach early so the next regime could get a head start in the next 5, 6, 7 games to get a head start on next season? Any advantages whatsoever firing a coach in season?
Yeah, good morning. Hi, guys. No, I don't really think at this time of year you're going to get a leg up on it. Guess what's probably happening? They're already having those conversations. They probably have had them before in terms of what direction they want to take this franchise in next if they decide to move on from Mike. They know it's not working. We've been talking about this for weeks now. So, look, who are you going to be looking at right now, even on staff, to step in as interim? I know Anthony Weaver's name has been thrown around a lot. He's had a lot of support and love, even around the league, in terms of head coaching opportunities over the last few seasons. So we'll see if they do make that switch, if Weaver will take over. But you take a look at some of the defense too, right? You can make an argument of, well, is there someone else maybe? Because it's not like their defense is crushing at this point. But to answer your question, no, I don't think that you get any leg up right now firing Mike McDaniel. Like, how? What are you going to do? Just have more conversations? People back channel anyways.
So what's more likely? Stephen Ross back-channeling about what he plans to do with the direction of the franchise, or Stephen Ross having these discussions about Mike McDaniel's future with embattled general manager Chris Grier?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing I'm going to be paying close attention to. Is this going to be a move where they're both out, right? Chris Grier's been there a long time. I think that there are definitely conversations going down right now about their futures, both of them. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. But in terms of the direction of the Miami Dolphins, if there's any thought about moving on from these guys, most organizations begin that process pretty early. It's not like they're waking up today going, you know what we should do? We should fire these guys and let's start putting together a list of people we want. They've been doing that.
I want to get to all of these stats of the day, so give me the stat of the day music again, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day.
I think I'm going to shock you guys with this one, okay? The third worst team in the sport right now, having the most number of 3-and-outs, the third worst is Cincinnati. Obviously a bad team without Joe Burrow. The second worst is Tennessee. We all know that's a bad team. You want to guess who's first? Most 3-and-outs in the league, and I'm going to do one better. Most 3-and-outs by any team since 2005. 20 years. Your champion Eagles. What do you do with that, Dianna?
That was coming. Yeah, so I think this is layered. First, just looking at it, this isn't even just conversations I've had. That's a separate conversation. They have an identity problem, right? It's like they have an identity crisis of what they want to be. Are they run first? Are they a passing team? Do they trust Jalen to throw the ball? This is a team that has had so much success because they know what they are. And last year we saw them do that, especially after the bye. They figured it out. And now we're seeing a team that just resembles a little bit more 2023 to me, right? Right before Kellen Moore was there, where you just weren't sure what they wanted to do. This roster is an all-star cast. There is no reason why they should be having all these problems. It was very obvious to all of us, right, that they've relied on Saquon Barkley. They've relied on this fantastic offensive line and the ground game. And it's been the same thing every single time they've won games, which was 20 out of the last 21, right? Run, off schedule, pass, tush push, right? It's like the same formula, but it works. Then you have two very high paid receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, who are obviously frustrated. They're not just frustrated because they're not getting touchdowns. They're frustrated in how they're being used in this offense collectively. And I think this is a point where Nick Sirianni took a lot of heat over the last few seasons from some of his own self-inflicted actions on the sideline to just a lot of questions about whether or not he's a good coach. Well, he goes out and wins the Super Bowl last year. It's hard to criticize, right? He's at the top of the mountain. I think this is his biggest challenge now. This is the worst the offense has ever looked under Nick Sirianni. And I know they have a new offensive coordinator this year in Kevin Patullo, but I think this is a good opportunity for Sirianni to step in and be like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to win games. We're going to play into our strengths, and I will manage the things I need to manage for this team to really find itself at this point. I'm not panicked about the Eagles. I'm just surprised they look this bad with the roster they built.
I'm going to say it again just so that you know. It's 47% of their drives are 3 and out. So half of their drives are 3 and out, and no one's been that bad in 20 years in the sport. So I asked the question of the audience on the poll at Batard Show, is it possible for a team that has won 20 of 22 games to have an identity crisis? Because I didn't think that was possible.
Right. We are talking about a 4-1 team.
It is wild how negative this sounds.
I mean, it's 47.2% of their drives go 3 and out.
And what's amazing is they have a great running back and ostensibly a great offensive line.
And great everything on offense. Their 11 best players pushed around the Chiefs defense last year in the Super Bowl. Like, they have all-stars all over the place. It doesn't look right. It's winning, but I think it's fair. What she just said about Sirianni, I still don't know if he's a good coach. I know he won the championship. I still don't know.
45 rushing yards in this game against the Broncos. That was the fewest they had since 2018. Why change what you're doing? And I don't think it's that deep for us to have a conversation about why they changed it. Because they have receivers who are frustrated. Their best player on offense is mad he's not getting the ball. So I think they just auto-corrected a little too much. But to me, it's almost as if winning camouflages the problems, and yet we're seeing this team have success, but we see the problems, right? There's obviously a trust issue they have with their quarterback. There's obviously a trust issue they have with their offensive coordinator. Everything is disjointed. They're not in sync. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how they get to, this isn't going to be one of these team meeting things. I really think this is on Nick Sirianni to grab hold of it and make adjustments and figure out what they want to be.
Dianna,
and they've got a good opportunity against the Giants, right? They play in a few days here. And look, the Giants defense, when they're playing well, will be a problem. But I think this is a get-right game for the Eagles, for sure.
Dianna, I feel like a lot of people forgot about this story just because of what happened with Mark Sanchez over the weekend. But can you walk us through your day where you're doing your job, you're doing reporting, you're kind of checking in with players and teams or whatever, and you're like, hey, Mac Jones, how's it going? Ready to go? And he's like, I found a dead body today. And then you're just like, okay. And then he goes out and he has a great game. Like, what happened there?
I'm so glad you asked me this, because without a doubt, that was the most bizarre story I'd ever covered, but also had a dig on. So I got a tip.
Not physically dig, right?
No, the body was, I guess, in sight.
It was in Marina Del Rey.
I also guess she wasn't on the Mark Sanchez
helped?
beat.
Yeah. Which, it's funny, you get so many random messages in your DMs, and I don't always check them because they're always just, show us your toes or whatever. They're never really good. But someone in Indy tipped me off on Saturday morning on the Mark Sanchez thing. I went back and saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh. So they had everything. I'm like, who is this person? And now I can't find their account. It's so random. But no, I woke up on Friday morning and someone had messaged me that all it said was Mac Jones saw a dead body floating in a pool. And I'm like, what? What? I don't even know what to do with this. So the story just evolved all day long. By the way, this is in the middle of 15 other major stories happening around football, because Fridays, everyone's a little bit more relaxed. Everyone likes to talk more. So, I'm digging on all this other stuff, yet I'm trying to figure out what happened. So when I was finally able to nail it down and dealt with Marina Del Rey police, which is another story. So essentially what happened was Mac Jones started his Thursday morning in Marina Del Rey. He has the game against the Rams that night. He's out on his balcony doing some meditation, something that he does. It's part of his routine. And he looks out at the water where all the boats are, and he sees a dead body. He did not know it was dead at the time, but figured it out pretty quickly. Someone else had called the police at that point. So then there was all this police activity, and the San Francisco 49ers are getting ready to go to their game. So they're getting on the bus. And the way it was told to me was the coroner's van is headed down to go get the body, and the buses are in the way. And everyone's just like, this is weird. This whole thing is bizarre. And when I spoke to the Marina Del Rey police, and I apologize, I'm not laughing. I don't know who this person is that passed away. And the Marina Del Rey didn't really know about it either. They were like, wait, so you're telling us there was a homicide and we don't know about it? I'm like, well, let's just go through the logs. Like, let's go through every single thing reported.
You are smiling while you tell the story. You tell us you don't mean to laugh at this, but you need to keep talking about this while covering the smile on your face.
Okay.
I imagine that's how Mac Jones called the police. So, like, he calls, like, there's a dead body.
I'm imagining him in, like, a zen with his eyes closed, and he just slowly opens them, and he's like, goo!
I'm laughing because the ridiculousness it was of how, like, you guys always mock my, like, resilience on the show and, like, my relentlessness to get a story, and I get it. Like, I make fun of myself as well. I was obsessed with getting this story, and I was getting so many different versions of it that I couldn't write it because it was wrong. Like, I needed somebody who knew what happened and saw it themselves to tell me the truth. And I needed the police to help me. Yet the police were like, yeah, there's a parking ticket we heard around that area. I'm like, no, a body. I need a body. Did anyone report a body? Your homicide unit was seen there. And it was just a lot of communication. And the person that was helping me.
You are still smiling maniacally. Like you still have an enormous smile on your face.
I don't mean to be laughing. I'm laughing because I wish you could have heard. Like, just imagine this maniac sports reporter calling you being like, give me all your paperwork. Tell me everything that happened. And this guy's like, I don't understand why you care so much. You're a sports reporter. Like, why do you care about a body?
At that point, you became a suspect.
That sounds like a cover-up, if you ask me.
Correct. He was asking me so many questions about this. And so he was like, but I thought Brock Purdy was hurt. I'm like, no, it was Mac Jones. Brock is hurt. Like, he was asking me all of these questions about the game. I'm like, and he's like, well, when are they playing? I'm like, they played already. He won last night. He saw the dead body. He saw the dead body, and he got on the bus, and he went and he won the game. He's like, that's a good story. I'm like, I know. That's why I'm calling you.
You should write that.
Like, so it's, Dan, you're obviously a journalist. You know how this works. You're like, I can't believe my column is the lead story of my column right now is not the Eagles. It's that Mac Jones saw a dead body. Like, to me, like, that was just wild. But Billy, you're right. Like, nobody cared. And look, I get it. Like, the only details I had was that he saw a dead body, and I'm sure we'll hear more. And we don't even know who this person is. We don't know if he was murdered. We don't know if he drowned. We don't know. But yeah, that's a wild day for a guy that went out there and won the game after eating 3 bananas and cramping and all the other things that go with playing the position, and getting a really big win.
So you said that someone also DM'd you the Mark Sanchez stuff, but I guess you didn't see it until after. You weren't sure if it was real or not. Like, what's the furthest down a path of confirming a story that you've gone to just realize, like, oh, this was total bull. Like, I've just gone down a wild goose chase for no reason.
Yeah. So remember when the Packers, there were rumors that they were going to trade Aaron Rodgers. And there was this guy who was obsessed with messaging media. And he did a good job, to his credit, of almost carrying himself and talking like he was somebody close to Aaron Rodgers. And he was engaging with everybody. And the only reason why I knew is because I would call the Packers. I'm like, hey, I'm hearing this. Like, You're like the 5th reporter to call us about this. Please do not listen to Bobby Smith 1212 dumpster fire or whatever his handle was. So I'd say I don't like to engage with like people that give you tips, but sometimes they know. Sometimes people see people at airports, or one of my best sources years ago was a janitor, which I know is always a joke. Like whenever I break a story, there's always someone that tweets like, "Oh, did you hear that from the janitor?" And it's one time I'm like, "Yeah, actually." Like that was one. And when I say it's a story from them, I don't mean the whole story. I mean just, hey, heads up. I saw this or I heard this. I don't know if it's anything. Then you dig. But in terms of like a person associated with a team or a story, I'd say the janitor one years ago, and I almost said the city.
Llegó Prime Big Deal Days. Con grandes ofertas en cocina, la grandeza está en tus manos. Así que si te encanta hornear, puedes conseguir una oferta en una nueva batidora de pie. Te transformará en el príncipe del pan.
¡Atención, atención! Abre paso al varón del brioche, al visconde del bizcocho y al conde de los cuernitos, miembro de Prime, Juan.
Sí, ¿hola?
Aprovecha ahora hasta 40% de descuento en Prime Big Deal Days.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast? Smart move. Being financially savvy? Smart move. Another smart move? Having State Farm help you create a competitive price when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Right now, at the Home Depot, shop fall savings and get up to 40% off select appliances like Samsung. Upgrade your kitchen this fall with the Samsung Bespoke 4-door refrigerator. Now featuring the dual auto ice maker with Sphere Ice. Only at the Home Depot. You'll have perfectly chilled drinks for every gathering. Don't miss fall appliance savings at the Home Depot. Offer valid October 2nd through October 22nd. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Don Batard.
Are you on the Fan right now? Did Mike Greenberg call you yet? Are you ever going to go back to ESPN? People think it's so weird you're a writer now. All those years on TV, all those years, and now you write? Who reads that?
Stugotz.
Why did you take a job at The Atlantic? Mom, I work at The Athletic. What? You're on YouTube?
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do the janitors always know, yes or no? And let's speed her up so we can get as much football information as we can. Which stat is more surprising to you? That one that I gave you about the Eagles, 47% of their drives are 3 and out, worst since 2005, or more than 20% of their drives, 0 or negative yards? More than 20% of their drives this season, the defending champions have 0 or negative yards. Which one's more shocking to you, Greg Cody?
The first one, the Eagles having that rate of 3 and out.
I caught you off guard. You weren't ready for that question. You thought I was asking Dianna, right?
Well, sort of, but I audible. That's what I do. I'm quick on my feet.
Dianna, did you were at the Philadelphia game, were you not?
Sorry, it crossed my mind before. I just wanted to ask Craig. Outside of a funeral and any personal family situations, have you ever seen a dead body?
I don't know that I have. No, I don't know that
Out in the wild? How many of us have ever seen a dead body out in the wild?
I interned at a news station before I was in sports, and it was like the news desk, and one of the camera guys would take me along on some of the dumb things. And then third or fourth day on the internship, we go and it's side of the express or whatever. He's like, "Want to go see a dead body?" And I was like, "No, I do not want to go see a dead body." He's like, "Come on, it'll be your first. You want to go see a dead body?" Was he
smiling like Dianna?
It was crazy. He's like, "Let's go." And I was like, "They're not going to just let us go over to that body." He's like, "Yeah, we're the media. You want to go see one?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Put it on the poll. Have you ever seen a dead body in the wild?
I did see one at an NCAA tournament game. Lefty.
I think most people would say no to that. The Patriots, are they for real?
Yeah, I don't think they're for real where we're talking Super Bowl. I think that they have had a really big makeover.
Devin Lloyd has more interceptions than 22 NFL teams. Is that recreatable?
No.
Are turnovers random? The Jaguars have caused 14 this year in 5 games. No other team has 10.
No, not random.
Do you believe in the Broncos?
I do. I believe in their pettiness, too, with Sean Payton and the Broncos celebrating in the locker room with a smoke machine and listening to the Rocky soundtrack and Meek Mill and getting in the bus and considering maybe driving around the city of Philadelphia to just celebrate. But yeah, I think, look, there's been a lot of excitement about them. And I think just the fact that they were able to come into the link and take down the defending Super Bowl champs tells you that they believe they can beat anyone now.
How hurt is J.J. McCarthy, and what has to happen if he's healthy for Carson Wentz to lose that job?
Yeah, high ankle sprain. I'd say probably. So they're on a bye week. They're going to try to get him out there, but I was told that they're going to be very patient with this and make sure he's 100%. Kevin O'Connell has been very open about it. He wants his quarterback to have a full week of practice. So this won't be one of those situations where Carson practices Wednesday, Thursday, JJ's back Friday, JJ starts Sunday. It's got to be a full week. Look, for everything that I've been told is they still believe in JJ McCarthy. It's his job. They just want him to get healthy.
What makes the Ravens defense so epically bad?
They lost their identity. By the way, you asked me that question, and I can tell you that the people in that building are asking themselves the same question, right? Because is it scheme? I don't know. Do they need better players? Probably.
They're hurt, but they're hurt, Diana. It's $160 million of payroll that's not playing.
I hear that, and I understand it, but we've seen it how many times teams playing with injuries. Remember that Titans team one year? I think they had like the record number of injured players in the game, and then they went out and won. The great teams figure it out. The great teams with great quarterbacks, when they're healthy, figure it out. I would be a lot less concerned about the injuries with the Baltimore Ravens if Lamar Jackson wasn't on the injury list. He's the centerpiece of that team, and without him, you get what you saw.
Can you tell us why or if Josh Allen is still mad at you?
Probably.
You can tell us, or probably he's still mad at you?
I don't know. I haven't tried. I've avoided. I'm an avoider when I lie to a MVP caliber quarterback and tell him I voted for him.
Oh, what happened there? So he asked if you voted for him and you voted for Lamar and you told him that you voted for him and he hasn't forgiven you?
Okay, so I just told this story to Stu. I did not know that the votes last year were public. So we vote for MVP, Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, all that stuff. And while that's happening, there's some campaigning. There is, whether people want to know that or not, right? So you've got agents and teams and coaches and everyone calling and saying, who you vote for, who you vote for. I don't like to make people uncomfortable, so I tell everybody I vote for them.
Well, but why during the Eagles tailgate did you tell all of the Eagles fans that their teams got problems? Like, if you're somebody who lies to the face of Josh Allen, why'd you tell Eagles tailgaters of all people the truth?
I'm sitting there. So I experienced this Sunday tailgate. I never get to do it. I had to go swing by my in-laws, say hello to them. You know, all their buddies are there, and they're like, "Hey, so tell us what's really going on. We're gonna be fine, right?" And I guess I just wasn't thinking. I just was like, "Well, I have concerns." Like, and this was before the game. You know, they're like, "What's your gut?" I'm like, "Broncos." They're like, "What?" Right? So it's just like I learned my lesson. Do not tell fans that their teams are in trouble. Everyone is winning. Like, if I could redo my career, I would only report that teams are amazing, because that's the only time fan bases support you and like you. Like, my Twitter would be all like puppies and rainbows.
She is the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. She's the host of the Scoop City podcast. She's an NFL expert. What do you think Gronk is saying here?
Mika Egbegbu.
Oh, Mika, a big boo.
Mika Egbegbu.
Where did he get the...
Mika Egbegbu.
Did anyone stop him? Did anyone correct him?
Yeah, they did.
You know, the producers in his ear just like trying to get it right. It's hard. What's the hardest thing you've ever had to say on the air?
Antetokounmpo was hard for me at the beginning, obviously. See you later, Diane. I know you have to get out of here. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Antetokounmpo is in the news these days.
Transition. That was a professional move there.
Antetokounmpo and LeBron both find themselves in the news today. It was a weird story from Shams in that the Bucks called the Knicks to gauge interest, but then the conversation died, and that the Knicks are the only team that Antetokounmpo has shown any interest in. But I would imagine it would require the entire Knicks roster to go back there, and I'd do it. I'd give anything that Milwaukee wants. I'd give it to them and start over that matches up on salary cap.
Yeah, Shams surprised everybody here. The two teams apparently discussed this. A little back and forth there, and I think obviously the interesting part was there was just one team. And we've seen recently the NBA has kind of gotten away from that, but Antetokounmpo said, I only want the Knicks, and it seemed as though that the Bucks were willing to at least entertain this wish from their superstar. I thought we weren't doing that anymore. That also breaks the heart of a lot of fan bases out there that thought that they could get in this game.
If you're the Knicks, though, you start the game at anyone you want except Brunson, right?
Nope. Anyone you want.
But they start there. If you're the Knicks, you're not just saying, here's Brunson.
Right. I agree with you.
You're trying to play that game of...
You try to pair, and I think the assumption would be from even Milwaukee. Yeah, you make that ask for Brunson, but I would hope that the intention would be to pair the two.
I'd give away anything for a top 5 player in the league who changes my fortunes no matter how I put around him. And I understand that Milwaukee doesn't win the championship every year, but Brunson...
Well, you're a terrible negotiator. That's how you start.
Brunson, I want the player.
Take more.
No, you start, you're like, you know what? We're really unwilling to get rid of Mitchell Robinson. And then they're like, why? What do you know? I'm like, well, we can't part with him. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Well, if you can't get... we want him now.
Yeah, don't ask for Josh Hart. That's a no.
Weren't the Heat involved with speculation about Giannis? No.
I mean, no, apparently not. Yes, Zaslow had that report in our mind, what we do often, and I think we got to wrap our brains around this guy doing it ain't happening anymore.
Wait a minute. So Zaslow, the journalist, had an erroneous report? I don't believe that.
No, the Miami Heat did indeed hear from all of the interested parties in possible acquisition, and everyone's got to do their planning there. The reason that this story is interesting is because it's twofold, I would say. One, it's the first indication we've gotten from a superstar who has chosen very carefully how it is that he's received by the American people. He is the only one who's been able to cross the language barrier and feel known by people in a way that's more than Luka, more than Jokic, really an international superstar who is transcended because we feel like in English he's trying to meet us where we are. So this is the first indication.
Not Dirk?
Okay, fair enough. Dirk as well. But Antetokounmpo among this batch of people that are presently vying for the face of the league after LeBron. We'll get to him in a second. But Antetokounmpo, the reason this is newsworthy is because, A, Milwaukee has made a call suggesting that, yes, he is available, and that call was so brief because the Knicks are not serious people. You are not going to get this person. You're not going to get this person by being finicky about what you're offering. You have to show them your entire roster. There's only 2 or 3 teams in the league who would say no to Giannis because I'm not giving up Jokic for him. It's literally 2 or 3. I'm not giving up Wembanyama for him. Go ahead and name all the others.
Okay. But if there's only one team in contention, then why give them whatever they want? You have some leverage there.
They're not in contention, though, if they're not willing to give up something.
But they can be.
Not with Mitchell Robinson and Miles Turner
you can't get Mitchell Robinson.
Piece.
7 future first rounds?
No? They don't have that. They don't have anything.
Dan, but isn't this also part of that chase? having it leak out to Shams and have the conjecture start.
It's a dance.
I mean, you say that they're not in the race. To me, from where I'm looking, they're the only team in the race.
No, it's got to be players is what I'm saying. They've got 26, 28. They've got 30, 32, a protected Wizards pick at 26. They don't have good picks to give, so you have to give players. And you're not going to get this person for your discards. That's not how that's going to happen. Of course, Jalen Brunson's their most valuable piece. And he's on a great contract. They got him at value, which has to be Pablo Torres next finds out. Like they got Brunson's like the only guy in the league willing to take a super discount in order to stay someplace.
They can have Cat.
In basketball, though, sometimes you do get these players for nothing.
Everybody seems
Cat, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson. Who else we got here? Come on, we can make a
Mitchell.
The superstars tend to get their way, except for when Miami's in the mix.
Billy, not this player. Not this player. This player is a top 5 franchise changer the moment that he steps into your uniform. There are only 5 of these in the entire league.
Within Shams' article, it is kind of important to note that the only call that it says here, it says the Bucks picked up the Knicks call on Antetokounmpo. This was after a conversation they had with Giannis where he expressed his frustration that he didn't feel like the Bucks were quite as close to championship contention as they could be at the beginning of the summer. They made moves independent of the potential moving of him that were meant to solidify the roster. And the Bucks insisted to the Knicks they did not plan to move on to Antetokounmpo, and those in Milwaukee believe New York was never really serious about the conversations because they didn't think Milwaukee would ultimately move him. This is just really, if we want to look at where this is situated, this offseason he'll have 1 year left on his deal. This is just sort of like planting the seed of, okay, New York should be one of those teams and putting pressure on Milwaukee to make the aggressive moves when it comes down to it, whether it be at the deadline or this offseason, to try to keep him happy.
It sounds like Milwaukee's playing both sides here. If you're accepting calls about Antetokounmpo, you're shopping them. Like,
you have to take calls. You have to listen.
That doesn't not if it's that player.
Well, they
don't have to. No,
they only took one call, which makes me think like that's not literal, right? Like it's not like okay, the Heat call and then the phone just rings, and at the end, like they call the Heat back and be like, just so you know, that was us not taking your call because you're not in contention.
I'm picturing it like Moneyball, where it's an assistant yelling into the GM. We have the Bucks, we have the Lakers on the line. Nope.
And you say we're not taking that call, or do you set up a call like, hey, we'd like to call today at 2:00, and then the Heat call, and then it rings and they go, oh,
the Hornets are calling. We have the Hornets on the line.
I don't think anybody's taking any calls these days. All of us are using our phones as computers. Who the hell takes calls anymore? To me, the news is Shams reporting that the Bucks took a call. It didn't have to be from the Knicks. Someone at the Bucks picked up a phone and didn't treat it as simply a text machine.
You can't be putting this stuff on text. What do you mean?
I see on the television here some people are being critical in the question asking of whether Chris Jones at the end of last night's game had to show more effort chasing Trevor Lawrence. And what it made me think of, to you guys, he didn't move very much, but the swampy regions of Florida can get defensive linemen at this time of year. Do you guys remember how the Rams-Titans Super Bowl ended with the Titans being 1 yard from tying the game late? On that last drive, DeMarco Farr, inside of his own 30-yard line, just raised his hand and ran off to the sideline because he was tired. Like, Chris Jones is exhausted last night. He doesn't want to be out there anymore.
Could he be just spying?
Yeah, it looked like that was the assignment, although it's a weird guy to spy down.
He walked 4 inches.
I don't think he gets there, but he could have shown more effort.
Had a bad game, Chris Jones.
But I also understand how a defensive lineman might be tired chasing that Clydesdale around.
Got to leave it all out there, though, Dan.
Well, he did. That's why he can only take a couple of steps that play. He was still out there. DeMarco Farr, that was the last 30 yards of a season, and he couldn't. He asked out of the game. He ran to the sideline. Barely could run.
I also would have been a little confused if the quarterback was already on the ground. I'm looking at him like, all right, well, this play's surely over. I'm good. We won, right? This game's over. Instead, he got up looking like a baby horse, not a Clydesdale. If a baby horse was to score a touchdown, it would look like what Trevor Lawrence did.
I expected him to keep falling back all the way into a safety. I expected just to keep falling backwards again and again. I do not trust that quarterback and that team to not undo every single bit of talent that they have. That's it.
That's correct.
It is. Everyone listening to this believes the same thing I do.
Folks, whenever I tell you about Game Time, I am telling you about Game Time from my heart because I use Game Time all the time to find tickets. I am so excited to talk about the official ticketing partner of the Dan Le Batard Show. The Game Time app gives the advantage back to fans. It's a hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included. So what you see is what you pay. Zone deals, favorites, panoramic seat view is my favorite feature, the low price guarantee, and the unparalleled Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.